Kia ora koutou. Hope you're having a beautiful day and welcome to this quick bite free masterclass. And why I wanted to make this a free masterclass and not a lunchtime webinar is because I despise lunchtime webinars. I have misophonia and eating at my desk and other people all eating at their desk. It's just my number one no-no. So I was like, look, we're gonna do a quick bite one you can listen to on a walk in your morning tea break or on your lunchtime break, and you can go eat your lunch outside or somewhere a bit more inspiring than being changed to your desk to be on your laptop to be in the Zoom call. So that is the why behind why this is available to you at any time. And I'm really excited to talk about today's topic, which is going to be on people pleasing in the workplace and how people pleasing is actually not productive in what we are wanting to do in our career and in our actual day-to-day work, our business as usual. If you haven't met me before, I am Courtney, the coach and mentor behind Courtney Reid Coaching and Consulting. And I have been coaching women for around 2 years now in a professional environment. I feel like I have been coaching my entire life, and I feel as though it was simply the step for me to take it into a professional area and working with women's mindset, women's health and fitness, and especially in career development and figuring out who they are and what that looks like in the place that they spend the dominant energy of their life, whether that's in their workplace or in their business. And it really is such soul fulfilling work to be able to do it in these spaces and to work with such incredible purpose-led and vision-driven women who are under 30, who are wanting to get it and are simply requiring and wanting to have a guide to help them navigate the season of our life, which is equally the most incredible, but equally terrifying and uncertain and all of the things. And it is really about surrounding yourself with the support system to be able to leverage that and to do the things you really want to do on the journey to discovering who you are, what your values are, and what you actually want to do in your workplace or in your business and generally in your entire life, which is definitely what we all want. So for today's masterclass, I'm just going to bring up my notes. So give me a hot minute. Welcome to my office. This is my call spot, which is really nice and peaceful and calming for when we have these calls, which is awesome. So what I'm wanting to talk to today is a conversation that it has been operating and floating around, especially in the mindset and self-development space. And it's been really cool to start to dive deeper into what some of these concepts and these terms mean in the workplace. And for like the general person, a lot of it is around like business and showing up in business. And while we are going to talk to some of those principles and concepts as well, it really does apply to everyone, because 95% of people work. 95% of people either have a career or have a business or work and lead their life in a way in which these principles and these teachings and these things are going to come up for us that we can actually apply to our life, and whether that's inside of the workplace or outside, which is really cool that you are the same human inside and outside of work. So just to remind you of that as well. So as young women, and when I say young women, I'm going to reference women under 30, which is the majority of the one-on-one clients that I mentor, is why we people please. And this really starts with the good girl archetype. I'm going to touch into some conditioning and some terminology, so stay with me, because it's really important that we understand why our brain actually works this way, and so which we can see how we can integrate lessons and things to shift and change. But we have the foundational teachings as to what is actually going on inside our brain. So when we are young, and especially when we're a child and in our developmental stage, so generally our developmental stage is from when we're about 0 to 7, and it can be from 0 to 7, 7 to 14, and even up to every day until right now. Like you have been in a learning and a conditioning environment where you've been testing out for your entire life what is safe, what gets you attention, what gets you love, what gets you approval from society or from parents or from loved ones, and what you perceive in your life to be the things that you get you those things, and the things that don't allow you to be rejected or feel pushed out, or to stray away from the number one thing we need as human beings, scientifically proven, is connection with other human beings. And people pleasing is really rooted in this as part in our brain, the primal part where we as humans are based around connection. If we do things that we don't perceive or that we've learned from our conditioning from childhood or beyond, that we are doing things that are going to risk or are going to not align with our belief system as to what that may mean for us being pushed out or rejected or taken away from a certain social connection group or a workplace, or if you look at any like family group or any dynamic kind of thing there, we don't want to be doing those things because it doesn't make logical sense in our conscious mind to do that. And when we talk to people pleasing, it is simply an expression of the things that we have learned in conditioning, childhood and beyond, that we deem to be safe. And especially when we talk to workplace, we don't only have social connection and that conditioning that comes with that, we also have work that is tied to financial safety, which is another part at which safety can come in many forms, but definitely financial safety, especially as a modern human and what we deem as safe, is having financial backing, and that is linked to work. So when we take risks and when we take things that are a bit out of the box, or we're pushing a comfort zone, especially in the workplace, it does feel very risky because we're not only risking the social, but we're also risking the safety and the financial. So just having an awareness as to those, it's giving yourself compassion and generously assuming that you are doing the best that you can with the tools that you have and the conditioning that you have learned up to this point. And you get to unpack and build awareness around this as to where this is serving you and where it is not serving you in your life, and how to shift the parts that aren't serving you, which is really, really cool. Your mind is so powerful to get you to this point, and you can choose to use your mind as powerful to shift it from this point as well, which is fucking epic. So if I swear, I apologize in advance. So currently we see and we fear being direct, especially as young women. We fear being direct, we fear being bold, especially in a quote unquote boys club or in masculine environments, as to for hundreds of years the workplace, especially in the professional workplace, has been masculine based and more so tailored to the man. And while that is shifting and there has been such incredible advances as to actually having equality in the workplace, we still have a long way to go, and that is fine because we are building our intention as to we're going in that direction and we're not going backwards, and you being here is part of that as well. But when we are direct, or when we want to say our truth, or we want to say something that isn't going to quote unquote fit with our current belief system as to what is safe, or what would currently fit in our safe box of people pleasing, and like that's fine, even though it doesn't align with what we actually want to do, because we seem as disrespectful. And this all links back to the good girl archetype. And if you haven't heard of the good girl archetype before, it is where when we are young, especially in that developmental stage from 0 to 7, we experience love, attention, and we build this level of social connection and safety from being nice, from being quiet, from being kind, from being all of these personality traits and these things that we want to over express to be the good girl, because the good girl is going to get love and attention and the things that she desires as a human being to feel safe. If we look at the bad girl didn't want to share her toys. She was loud, she was busy, she was direct, she was bossy, and those were things in which this is not making anyone's journey wrong. It is simply just identifying how we perceived things when we were a child and how that is trickling into our adult lives, our young woman adult lives now, and bringing an awareness to that so that we can shift and change. So when we did things like break the rules, or we were bossy and we were kind of told that they were wrong, there were parts of us that didn't just associate the thing that we were doing, so quote unquote bossy, as wrong. We associated being a bossy person as a human being as wrong, and then parts of ourselves as being wrong. And as over time, we have learned that maybe being bossy wasn't safe. Maybe being bossy was really something that was like, no, we don't do that. We are nice and kind and all of these things. As a child, obviously this makes sense because you want your child to be safe and loved and cared for and get on with everyone, to build that social conditioning, to build that social safety. And when we get to an adulthood, being bossy and being direct and being in our power are actually things that are quite important, especially if we're wanting to grow in our career, and as young women who are navigating this new season of what it means to be a young professional woman in the workplace or in business, in an ever-changing landscape, which is very exciting, but it is ever-changing as to what feels safe to be and present ourselves as in that environment. So when we think to just using bossiness for an example, it's really important to see in where is your brain associating the thing or the personality trait or the word itself with parts of yourself that are wrong or bad that you may have taken a step back from. You're like, I don't want to be a bossy person. I don't want to be direct. I don't want to be seen as a as a big word. But these are the parts in which you can go, I can build an awareness around where those things were not loved or accepted, and I perceive those to be parts of myself that I didn't want to express, and that was safe. Whereas now we get to build safety around those parts of ourselves that are actually really, really powerful, and we get to use those to our advantage. And the difference and the transformation from someone who doesn't want to be associated as bossy to really like bringing bossiness like into their power, or bringing directness into their power, that is where the growth is. It is between where we don't want to use something to our advantage as to who we are, to leveraging it as to who we are and expressing that in a really healthy and expressive way. And when I talk to healthy expressions of things, I talk to things in which we are aware of and we are wanting and we feel safe to, and we have experience around, we have integrated, and we are expressing. If we talk to an unhealthy expression, it is something that in which we feel shame, or we feel guilt, or we really feel this anxious, there's these feelings of anxiety as to what it would feel like to express those and what that would mean for ourselves and feel in our mind and our body. So say, for instance, a few years ago, I'd say this is probably like 4 years ago, I would sit at my desk and I would try and send emails to people, and this people pleasing was overwhelming. Like guilt would come up about wanting to be really direct and actually having to do my freaking job, but wanting to do it in a way in which I didn't come across as bossy or direct or ambitious or all of these things, in which now I see those words as really, really powerful ways and how I want to be perceived. But at the time, it was not safe for me. And I didn't perceive and I didn't believe that those things were safe to express. So in an unhealthy expression of being direct, I would be very indirect, and I would send lots of smiley faces, and I would spend 20 minutes very unproductively trying to squish all of my directness into this fluffy, large email, into which I just felt very unproductive, unfulfilled, and very, very resentful to myself, and projected resentment on the other person, in which I didn't feel safe enough to be direct with. And generously assume me in this, like there are going to be instances and circumstances and situations into which it's not safe, but that this is, we're talking about the general majority of where in which it is more so in simply our beliefs and our side of the street to clean up rather than the other person. So taking the responsibility back on ourselves, and I'm not talking about situations in which that would be different. So just to clarify that. And so unhealthily, I would try and suppress all of this, my truth, in which I wanted to be direct and I wanted to share and I wanted to be productive and I wanted to write an email in 30 seconds and go forth with my day. But I held all of those things back. I held on to everything, and it didn't make me feel good, and it made me feel very stuck, very suppressed. Whereas a healthy expression of directness is knowing that actually by being direct, by being able to allow ourselves to express this directness, this ambitiousness, this actual our opinion and our truth, it allows us to align with who we are. It allows us to be authentic. It allows us to feel in flow, therefore having more fulfillment and more productivity, and feel like we have more momentum in our life, and especially in our workplace, whether it's a business or whether it's sending an email to a colleague. It's really important to have this healthy expression of directness, because at the end of the day, the most important person in your life is you. And if you don't feel like you're going to work right now and you are having this really flowy experience where you feel like you can safely express yourself, you can be direct, you can express your opinions, where you can be your authentic self, then it's not harboring a really healthy environment for you, whether it's in your physical reality or inside your own mind, for you to grow and expand and to build a beautiful, incredible frigging career that you want to. And that is what I want for you, and that is what I know you want for yourself. I'm going to go into a few, I know I'm going to try and keep this very short, but I'm going to go into a few examples as to how to stop people pleasing in your work. And as I said, you can put these in your workplace, business, and in your life as well, which is really cool. Same human doing the work. So number one is intention. So what is the intention of your response, and why are you actually trying to get your point across? Are you trying to get your point across from a place of, this is my opinion, this is actually my job, like this is something I have to do to push the needle forward, to get shit done, like to actually move things along? Or am I wanting to send this direct response because I'm having an emotional response? And not that emotions are bad, and we're never linking those to guilt and shame, but are you responding from a reactive energy that wants to send a really quick email so you can get it away and out of your inbox and get it done, and which is actually going to end up in people-pleasing tendencies, which may not land on the other person, but there's going to be guilt and shame and people-pleasing tendencies later on for having reacted in that way, and then go into the thought spiral, the negative thought spiral, and the negative self-talk, and that could be harbored in that way as well. So we really want to come into this beautiful middle ground where we allow ourselves to honor our energy, to honor our emotions, especially as women. Like, listen to your emotions, listen to your intuition and your gut as to what you want to say, and just notice what comes up in your body when you want to say something. Is it something that is really dysregulating, and you're wanting to maybe just take a minute, like regulate yourself, take some deep breaths, take a walk, or simply just sit at your desk and just sit in silence? Or is it actually like you notice, I'm having a reactive response, and if I send this email, I'm wanting to send it because I want it to get off my plate, and I'm actually not going to feel very good if I send it in this way with these wordings, and like that's not actually going to be truly in my power and truly be direct. It's simply pushing something away, which is the same as pushing something away. It's going to come back and we're going to suppress it even more so. So it's finding that really nice middle ground of listening to our emotions, listening to our gut feeling as to what we're wanting to say, and really being in our power and our opinion without wanting to rush the process and then have the aftermath of and I feel like you would know, the aftermath of a people-pleasing energy, in which it just comes all back on us, and then we hold on to that for days, weeks, or months, and nobody wants to be in that position. And the person on the other end of the email would not want that for you either. They honestly would not. As a fellow human being, I can confirm that for you. The second one is why. Why are you being direct? Why are you wanting to speak in this way, and why are you actually wanting to do this work to reverse your people-pleasing tendencies and accept that you do those things, but shift them into a really healthy expression? Are you doing something to be liked? Are you doing something to be praised? And are you doing something to conform to the majority of people? Asking ourselves these questions is really, really important, especially if we are going to be doing something that is edgy, that is out of the box, that is going to grow and expand us in our career. Asking ourselves the question, why am I actually doing this? Like, am I putting myself in a situation or a job or a conversation or something that doesn't even align with who I am and where I actually want to grow? It doesn't even feel good to be doing that. So ask yourself the question, like, am I doing this to be liked, or because I think I should be doing this, or because I want to and because it may be scary, but it's actually going to grow and fulfill me and expand in my career and in my life as a person, as a human being? Really, really powerful question before you do anything, really, whether it's a meeting, a job interview, a business venture, a new offer. Why are you doing it? Is it because it comes from your soul? Is it because you come from your authentic self? Or is it to be liked and to people please others? And it's okay if it is. It's just making sure that you are, one, aware of it, but not leaving it at the awareness. Seeing where there may be something to journal on, there may be something to unpack as to why you feel like you need to do or should be doing something to receive love, attention, and to please others, and unpack why that is. And then be able to see, okay, if I didn't want to people please others, what would I be doing differently? Really, really powerful questions to be asking yourself. 3, notice the resistance and lean in. This is a really important part of the people pleasing, especially in the workplace process, is building self-trust. And building self-trust means doing the scary things and proving to yourself, giving yourself the evidence that you can do scary things, you can do hard things, you can push the edges, and you can be direct, and you will not die. You will not die, and you can hold whatever comes back to you. Maybe you send a direct email and someone doesn't actually take it very well. And that's actually okay, because you can't control how other people will perceive you. But it's just knowing that you did it from, again, a grounded, healthy expression, and from a place that speaks to your authentic voice and your opinion and your power. If you are coming from that place, however vulnerable it is to step into your power and step into your voice, it is the most incredible thing you can do to build self-trust and know that you have your own back at all times, even if it is not received. Because sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes it's not going to be received well. And that's actually okay, because it's part of growing our self-trust with who we are, with what we're wanting to do in our life. And at the end of the day, it's not their career in which we're growing, it's our own, and stepping into our power around that. Number 4, this is important. Ask for help. Ask for help. Just as vulnerable as it is to ask someone for help around something that we are wanting to step into our power around, is something that we really do need help with. And this is kind of both of them at the same time. So it's really vulnerable. So if you have someone in your workplace, whether that's a mentor or a manager or someone that you know, you like, you trust, and you respect, and who has the qualities in which you are, or the personality traits in which you are wanting to embody and step into. Those personality traits we talked about, the bad girl, not the good girl ones. You've already got those mastered, I am sure, but the bad girl. So the bossy, the direct, the ambitious, the powerful, the confident, and the courageous. Is there someone in your workplace in which they embody one or all of those qualities, and to which you can ask them questions or build trust with them around? Build trust with them around. So if you have them in your workplace, ask them for help and ask them for guidance. If you have an example of this is if you have an email into which you are wanting to send a scary email in which you're like, I have to be direct, I want to honor my energy, and I'm going to send this, ask someone else's opinion. Because most likely, and this has happened to me many times, in which I have put myself out there and I have leaned in vulnerably and asked for help, someone else will look at their email and they'll go, this is still really fluffy. And you'll go, I just thought this was the most strict email I've ever sent in my life, but I guarantee you, it probably isn't. And even if it is, someone is going to be there to guide you, to coach you, and you lead yourself powerfully first, and then you ask for help, then you ask for guidance, which is a really powerful part into which you can do it by yourself, but you don't have to do it alone, which is really, really cool. When I asked one of my managers for guidance, I remember she would come to me when she needed something to be a little bit more fluffy, and I would come to her when I needed something to be really direct and really ambitious. And I can gladly say now I can't be the person to help with writing a fluffy email, because now I do this work. And the thing is that your work is your work. You're going to have way more fun and way more fulfillment, way more enjoyment, and actually living out your purpose, whatever that is in your workplace or in your life, when you're feeling heard, seen, and accepted as your authentic self and who you are. And that is a fact, because you're going to do all of these things for yourself anyways. You're not working for someone else. You're not working and growing your career to please your manager or to your dad or your mom or your dog. Like, you're doing this for you. If you're wanting to create an incredible career and a incredible business and lead yourself really powerfully as to who you are and your values and in your vision and your purpose, you're doing that for you. So sometimes we can lose sight of like, why are we actually doing this and who are we doing it for? And I just want to remind you that you're actually doing this for yourself. You are the most important person in your life. Everything is going to come as a byproduct and as overflow from you living your most authentic, magnetic, and most purpose-filled life, especially when it comes to where we spend the most time, the most energy, which is in our workplace or in our business. That is today's masterclass. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, if you have anything that landed for you, I would love to hear from you. Either flick me an email or send me a DM on Instagram, Courtney Reid Coaching at the handle on Instagram, and check out all of my offers in there. If you are wanting to book a discovery call, I have a free 20-minute one-on-one coaching call with me to figure out if this is actually the right fit. Is it the right time in your career? Is it the right time to get a mentor or a coach? And what is actually the things in which you are wanting to work on as a purpose-led, a values-driven woman under 30? Have a beautiful day, and I hope to hear from you soon.